What if I told you that the difference between people who build real wealth and the ones who stay broke their entire lives comes down to just one rule? It's not some secret stock pick and definitely not some get rich quick scheme. I'm talking about something so simple that when I first heard it, I actually got a little angry because I realized that I've been doing the complete opposite for years, and it was keeping me stuck in the same financial cycle over and over again. But here's the thing, once I started to follow this one rule, everything changed. And I mean everything. My stress levels dropped, my savings started to grow, and for the first time in my adult life, I felt that I was in control of my money instead of the other way around. So stick around because I'm going to share that one rule with you, plus 4 other insights that completely transformed how I think about money. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see your finances in a completely different light. What's up, everybody? I'm Rashida, and I help people to make smart money moves. I began my journey at the age of 17, and I've been able to grow my portfolio to 7 figures, all on a police officer salary. So I know that you can do it too, and I'm here to show you the way, so let's go. So let me start by asking you something. Have you ever felt like you were doing everything right with your money, but somehow you are still living paycheck to paycheck? Maybe you got that promotion, you got that raise that you've been waiting for, and you thought, finally, I can get ahead. But 6 months later, you find yourself in the exact same spot financially, maybe even worse. You know that you should be investing, you know that you should have an emergency fund, but every time you try to save money, something comes up. The car breaks down, your kids need something for school, or you just want to treat yourself because you work so hard. But here's what I've learned after years of studying this stuff and working with hundreds of people on their finances. The problem isn't that you don't know what to do. The real problem is that nobody ever taught you how money actually works in your brain. You see, most of us tend to think that money problems are math problems. We think that if we just learn the right formulas, the right investment strategies, or the right budgeting techniques, that everything will click into place. But that's not how it works. You see, money is emotional, money is psychological. And until you learn that, you're going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. So let me tell you about this rule that changed everything for me. I learned this from studying how some of the most successful people in history have built their wealth, and it's something that goes against everything that our culture teaches us about money. And the rule is this: you need to lock your lifestyle below your earnings. That's it. That is it. And it's simple, right? But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't just about spending less money. This is about completely rewiring how we think about success, about status, and what it means to live a good life. And so let me explain what I mean. You see, most of us have been programmed to really believe that when we make more money, that we should spend more money. When we get a raise, we upgrade that car. When we get a promotion, we move to a bigger house. And if we have a good month, we celebrate with a very expensive dinner or shopping spree or an extravagant vacation. But here's the thing. Every time you increase your lifestyle to match your income, you are essentially running on a treadmill. You're working harder and harder, but you aren't actually getting anywhere. You have become trapped in what I call the lifestyle inflation trap. But what if instead of increasing your lifestyle when your income goes up, you kept your lifestyle exactly the same? What if that raise, that bonus, or that side hustle income went straight into building your future instead of funding a fancier present lifestyle? This right here is what wealthy people do differently. Most of them don't look rich, they don't drive the fanciest cars, and they do not live in the biggest houses that they can afford. They live below their means, and sometimes way below their means, and they use that gap to actually build real wealth. But there's something even more important about this rule that I need to tell you, and it's probably not what you think. Most investing apps out there are designed for complete beginners, but they never help you grow beyond that. This video is sponsored by Moomoo, and guys, this platform is a complete game changer for anyone ready to level up their investing game. Moomoo is a commission-free investment app, but what makes it different is that you get access to professional grade tools tools, and premium research that the Wall Street pros pay hundreds of dollars for. And you get this completely free. This is like having a financial advisor's toolkit right in your pocket. Okay, now this is the first thing that I love about this app. While you're deciding on your next investment, your cash isn't just sitting there doing nothing. You're earning 8.1% APY for the first 3 months, and it's FDIC insured. Most apps out there are going to give you a tiny fraction of this or no interest at all on your uninvested cash. And the second thing that I love is that you're going to get premium news from sources like the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, and Reuters. Plus, you get free Morningstar reports that normally cost $35 a month. And so this is the same research that the wealthy use to make their smart money moves. And here's what really got my attention. You can track what Warren Buffett and other notable investors are buying and selling. Plus, you can get advanced charting tools that can cost you thousands on other platforms. Join the 26 million users that are already on Moomoo. Click the link in the description to jumpstart your investing journey today with up to 60 free stocks when making a qualified deposit. Plus, if you're already a trader and you want to graduate to a more sophisticated platform, transfer your portfolio to Moomoo and earn those cash rewards. So go to start.moomoo.com/Rashida Herbers or click on the link in the description to take advantage of these awesome promos and experience the power of Moomoo. All right, now let's get back to our video. The real power of this rule isn't just about the money that you save, it's about what it does to your brain. When you are not constantly upgrading your lifestyle, you are breaking free from the comparison trap. You stop caring about what other people think about your car, your house, your clothes. You stop measuring your success by how much stuff you can buy. And here is what nobody talks about. This is incredibly freeing. When I stopped trying to look successful and started focusing on actually becoming successful, my stress levels dropped dramatically. I wasn't worried about making the next car payment or whether I could afford a bigger apartment or a bigger house. I was sleeping better, I was happier, and ironically, I was actually enjoying my money more because I wasn't constantly stressed about it. But wait, there's more, because once I actually mastered this rule, I discovered 4 other insights that completely changed my approach to money. And these might surprise you even more. Insight number 2 is that your financial success has almost nothing to do with how much you know about money. I used to think that I needed to become an expert in stocks, bonds, real estate, cryptocurrency, all of it. I have probably spent thousands of hours over my lifetime reading financial books, watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, consuming as much financial information as I could. And what I found is that when you take in that much information, you can often get paralyzed by information overload. And so here is what I did learn. Building wealth is 80% behavior and 20% knowledge. The people that get rich are not necessarily the smartest people in the room. They are people that can stick to simple habits consistently over time. They are people that can say no to themselves when they want to buy something that they don't need. They are people who can invest money even when the market is scary. And so knowing this was actually a huge relief for me because I didn't have to become a financial genius. I just needed to get my behavior right. And that is something that anybody can do. Now here's insight number 3, and this may sound crazy. Small amounts of money can completely change your life. There was a time when I believed that investing $50 or $100 a month was pointless. I thought, what's the point? That's not going to make me rich. But here's what I discovered. It's not about the money at first. It's about the identity shift. Because when you start investing even tiny amounts, you start thinking of yourself as an investor. And so you start paying attention to the markets. You start learning about compound interest and you start making decisions like a wealthy person would make them. And over time, something amazing does happen. As your investments grow, even small amounts, you get addicted to that feeling. You start finding more ways to invest. You start looking for extra money to put away. And before you know it, you're investing hundreds or even thousands of dollars a month. And the best part is, it doesn't feel like a sacrifice because you have become the type of person who invests. Now, moving on to the insight that really blew my mind. Insight number 4. The wealthiest people that I know personally live the simplest lives. And this goes against everything that we see on social media, right? We think that rich people are driving Lamborghinis, living in mansions, and taking private jets everywhere. Now, that may be the ultra wealthy, but most wealthy people do not live that lifestyle. They drive normal cars, they live in normal houses, and they shop at normal stores. And why is that? It's because they understand that every dollar that you spend on looking rich is a dollar that you cannot use to become rich. They'd rather be wealthy than look wealthy. They'd rather have $1 million in the bank than millions in debt trying to maintain an image. And to be honest, this was a little hard for me to accept at first because I wanted people to know that I was successful. When I was younger, I really aspired to have the really nice car, the really nice clothes, or the really nice house. But over time, I realized that the people whose opinions I actually care about don't care about that stuff. And the people who do care about that stuff are not the people that I should be trying to impress anyway. And so let me tell you what happened when I started applying these insights. The very first thing I did was calculate my lifestyle lock-in number. I looked at my essential expenses, so that's things like housing, food, transportation, insurance, things that are necessities. I added 20% to that amount for fun and flexibility, and that became my lifestyle ceiling. Then every time that I made extra money, so whether it be a raise, a bonus, or income from a side business or a side project, instead of upgrading my lifestyle, I put that money straight into my investment accounts. And at first, it felt weird. I felt like I was depriving myself, but then something incredible happened. Within a year, I had more money in my investment accounts than I'd ever had in my entire life. And within 2 years, I was making more money from my investments than I was spending on some of my largest expenses. And within just 3 years, I realized that I had enough money invested that I could survive for years without working if I had to. And so that awesome feeling of security, that feeling of having options, the feeling of not being trapped by my paycheck, that is worth more to me than any fancy car or any expensive vacation that I could have bought with that money. But here's the thing that I want you to understand. This isn't about living your life like a monk or never enjoying your money. This is about being intentional with your money, all right? This is about making sure that your money is working for your future self and not just for your present self. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to pause this video and calculate your lifestyle lock-in number. And once you get that number, I want you to type lifestyle lock-in down in that comment section so that I know your game. And so remember, to get that number, just add up your essential expenses, add some buffer for fun and flexibility, and then write that number down. And then stick to that number that you write down. And so no matter how much money you make from this point on, you're not going to spend more than that number for your lifestyle. Then I want you to open an investment account if you don't have one already. And it doesn't matter if you can only put in $25 a month to start, all right? Remember, this isn't about the money at first. This is about that identity shift. This is about becoming that person who invests. And finally, I want you to work on simplifying your financial life, okay? Close accounts that you don't need, cancel subscriptions that you don't use. Stop trying to optimize for every little thing and focus on the big wins, okay? That is spending less money than you make and investing the difference. Look, I know this may sound too simple, and I know you think that there has to be a lot more to it than this. But sometimes, y'all, the most powerful things are the simplest things. Sometimes the answer isn't more complexity, it's less. Remember, the people who build real wealth aren't the ones with the most complicated strategy. They are simply the ones who can stick to simple principles consistently over time. They are the ones who can delay gratification. They are the ones who can think long term in a short term world. And you can be one of those people too. You have everything that you need to start building wealth right now. You don't need more money. You don't need more knowledge. You don't need perfect timing. You just need to start now. If this video helped you to see money a little differently, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. It really helps this video reach more people when you do that. And remember, guys, that building wealth isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about making progress and not perfection. And it's about believing that your future self deserves better than your current circumstances. Now, if you are still here at this point in the video, you are my people. Do me a huge favor, drop a money bag emoji down in that comment section. I will see you guys in the next one. Again, I'm Rashida, and I'm out.